Hey, welcome to Talking with Tineo. This is your host. This is your beloved servant. This is your podcaster, Joshua Tineo. And I am so super excited to talk about this subject with you. I'm with Christian, as always. He's in the room. You'll hear him sound like an owl and giving a couple shouts throughout the episode. But we're very excited to talk to you about this subject. And the subject is how to be an effective mentee. Let's talk about it. This episode is brought to you by joshuatineo.com. If you're looking for a mentor, if you're looking for an accountability partner, make sure you go on the browser, type in joshuatineo.com and sign up today because we want to see you grow and grow in life. I am very excited, Christian, and this is why. I'm excited because today we are talking about the subject of mentorship. We are talking about the subject of being an effective mentee. I dare to say this. If you are not interested in being a mentee, then success is not interested in you. Woo! My gosh. If you are not interested in the subject, in the value, if you do not recognize the value, the importance, or the necessity of being a mentee, then potential is not interested in you, then future, then legacy, then growth, then scalability, then increase, then success is not interested in you. I have come to realize by experience the power and the value of being mentored. I feel like being a mentee will change the trajectory of your living. I know that I would have never been in the place that I am today or in the place that I know I'm going to be if it wasn't for my mentors. And that's why I want to talk to you about this today. In a later episode, I'll talk about how to be an effective mentor. But I wanted to make sure that I can have a couple years in the subject of mentor before I even teach on it. But one thing I can definitely, and I feel completely adequate enough to talk about, is being an effective mentee, because this is the reality. It's very difficult for a mentor to fail in mentoring someone, because all they're really doing is they're sharing their life experience, they're giving their suggestions, and in some cases, providing frequent accountability. But for the most part, they're sharing their life experience. They're giving you a glimpse into their life and how they got there. So for them to fail in doing that is very rare. However, the student, the mentee, has the ability to fail. Why? Because you can learn from anything. You can learn from anyone. You can learn from the worst teacher in the world, because you can even learn from their weaknesses. You can learn from their cons. You can learn from the things that they're doing wrong, and you can learn from the things that they're doing right. There are right and wrong ways to be a mentee. In the same way how you can go to the greatest schools in the world. And right now, Christian is going to a great school here in the Northeast called Providence College, PC. And we both know that you can be in a great school, you can study under great people, and still not reach the place where you want to be. So that's why I want to make sure that you are not losing money, that you are not wasting time learning from a person without having the right fundamentals in place to be a good student, to be an effective mentee. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give you eight things that will make you an effective mentee. 8 principles, 8 ingredients, 8 fundamentals that I personally think will immediately put you in the category of an effective mentee. And this is what we have to understand: that you dismiss and you disrespect your potential when you neglect consistent accountability. And that's just the truth of it. You will always disrespect and dismiss your potential if you neglect not just accountability, but consistent accountability, because being a mentee is literally being a student with accountability attached. It's about surrendering what you thought you knew and becoming a sponge to someone who knows. I'm going to say that again. Being a mentee, being an effective mentee, it's about surrendering what you thought you knew and becoming a sponge to someone who knows. And that's what it is. And I want to give you 8 right now of those steps, 8 ingredients, 8 things that you should be doing in order to be an effective mentee and literally have the best experience and grow rapidly through a mentorship program. You're going to be very shocked by my first one. Number one, pay for it. Pay for it. Isn't that a shocker, huh, Chris? Pay for it. Listen, we have to understand, it's just common sense. It's logical. It's proven. And this is the facts. When you're financially invested, you think twice before missing a meeting. When you're financially invested, you think twice before not completing an assignment. When you're financially invested, you think twice about every action you take so that you make sure that all the money that you've invested is not going down the drain. I'll put it this way. If you bring in an intern who's working for your company for free just to build experience, I guarantee to a certain extent that the person that you're paying is going to work harder or is going to have more results than the person who's working for free. In other words, let me put it this way. A staff is always expected to work more than the volunteer. Why? Why? Because the staff is held into a standard of payment. Like there is paperwork showing, hey, we are paying you to accomplish this task. And then the volunteer is literally giving, it's investing its free time. It's saying, hey, I just want to do this. But when you're staff, you have to do it. There is finances involved. There is paperwork involved. There is finances that are literally standing in the gap between what you're being told what to do. So let me put it this way. You are going to be a more effective mentee when you pay your mentor. When you pay your mentor. I currently have 3 mentors. And when I say 3 mentors, let that not shock you because I definitely think you need to have more than one, and that's going to actually be one of my other points. But I have 3 mentors. If you have 10 mentors, you need to relax. Even if they're all free, you need to relax because that's too many wells you're drawing from. That's too many mouths speaking closely into your ear. A mentor is someone who you're giving your undivided attention to and literally surrendering your knowledge and serving them and learning from them and literally receiving accountability rather from them. It's becoming a close person so that you can reap, some benefits that a casual person wouldn't get. It's about getting proximity to that person so that you can witness and eat from the fruits of their labor and literally learn from all of the years of experience. I think that if you pay for it, Chris, if you pay for your mentorship, you are going to keep yourself way more accountable compared to if you didn't pay a single cent. And it just shows. It just shows. And you being a student who's paying thousands upon thousands of dollars to go to the college you're at, you think twice before you say, you know what, I'm just going to miss class today. Or, you know what, I'm just going to let this homework assignment pass because I need to get some sleep. Like, no, hey, I'm paying north of $40,000 for this thing. So because you're financially invested, you are more cautious with everything you do, with everything you say, with all the decisions you make. You have to pay for it. And this is just my suggestion. If you pay for it, I'm paying for 2 out of the 3 mentors that I have. And if I told you the numbers of how much I pay for the mentors that I have, you'd probably be shocked and you probably think it's heresy. But the reality is I know that I need to keep myself at a standard, and I know that I'm asking for their best and I'm asking for my best. So I want to make sure I'm financially invested. That way I can keep myself accountable and remember the price that I'm paying, more than just sweat equity, more than just my time, the money that I'm investing to be a better person. If you want to be an effective mentee, I highly suggest you pay for your mentor. That's number 1. Number 2, state your goals and your aspirations in advance. State your goals and your aspirations. Give your mentor something to work with. Tell them exactly what you want to achieve. Tell them your vision. Tell him tell him or her who you want to become. Because the reality is, if we just go and ask for a mentor, but we don't even have a plan, then we're literally wasting money and wasting time. Nonetheless, we're going to learn, but we're not being guided to a specific place because we do not yet know where we want to go. A mentor is someone who is going to help you get to the place you want to be. But if you don't know where you want to go, it's going to be very difficult for a mentor to do his job. State your goals and your aspirations in advance. Number 3, moving on, pursue the conversation. Woo! Pursue the conversation. Show your interest. Initiate with intention. Initiate with intention. And I've seen this happen. Before I became a mentor, I've been a leader in the nonprofit sector in my church for many years, over 10 years. And I'm currently leading people of all ages, people that are twice my age, people that are, 10 years younger, 15 years younger, people who are my same age, all that. And one thing that I've realized throughout my years of leadership is that if they tell you they want to grow, but they do not call you, they do not text you, they do not come up to you and say, hey, what can I do? What can I say? What should I learn? What should I read? They're showing that they were never fully interested or invested in the first place. If you truly want to grow and you're seeking a mentor so that you can scale your living, you have to initiate with intentionality. You have to show that you're actually hungry. If you're hungry, Chris, and for those of you who are just tuning in, I'm acting like this is live, but Christian is in the building with me. He's actually one of my mentees, and he's somebody who is one of the leaders in my multiple organizations in the church, and he's also part of the business as well. Chris, when you're hungry, do you always wait for your mom or whoever to make you a meal?
I do not.
You do not, because when you're hungry, you will get up, you'll go to the fridge, you'll get out all the condiments and the ingredients, and you'll make yourself a sandwich. Why? Because you're hungry. When you're hungry, you don't wait to be fed. Whoa, that's a sermon. If you're hungry, you don't wait to be fed. You pursue the kitchen. You pursue the chef. You get the food. You go to the store. You go to the fast food restaurant. You make yourself whatever, because when you're hungry, you pursue that thing. So number 3 is pursue the conversation. Listen, waiting for your mentor to contact you, it literally only illuminates your lack of commitment and interest. That's just what it does. If I am your mentor and I don't see any intention and I don't see any initiation, I don't see any intentionality on your part for you to pursue the conversation, I'm already being illuminated the fact that you're not fully committed or interested. So therefore, I'm going to feed you according to how you're coming up to me. I'm going to literally judge it by how I see it and operate from that standpoint. You should be listening more than you are talking. You should, and if you talk, it should mostly be to ask a question. And that's all part of pursuing the conversation. Pursue the conversation. Show your interest. Show that you're actually committed. Initiate with intention. Number 4, remove your resume. My gosh, remove your resume. Don't be a know-it-all. Don't be a know-it-all. Like I said at the beginning of this podcast, it doesn't matter if you have a doctorate's degree. It doesn't matter if you went to a great school. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. It doesn't matter your class. It doesn't matter anything. Don't be a know-it-all. Remove your resume. Sometimes it's those with the biggest resumes that have the smallest chance to succeed. I'm going to say that one more time. Sometimes it's those with the biggest resumes that have the smallest chance. And why is that? It's because when they have such a long resume, when they have such a big experience, the problem is that they get comfortable with that. They feel entitled. They feel like they're better than everyone else. And sometimes the humility goes out the window. And if humility goes out the window, so does teachability. It's very hard to teach a person who's not humble. It's very hard to teach someone who refuses to remove their resume. You know, my favorite movie of all time is Avatar by James Cameron. And there's an awesome quote that happens in the movie. And it was actually the woman who was kind of overseeing the tribe that the blue people, the avatars, were a part of. And she was speaking to Jake Sully and said, it's hard to fill a cup that's already full. It's hard to fill a cup that's already full. And in the same way, it's hard to develop an unteachable ego. It's hard to develop a person who refuses to let go of their experience, who's not willing to let go of all the things they learned. You need to remove your resume. Don't be a know-it-all. Go to your mentor and just be a sponge. Your only responsibility is to be a sponge. Learn, ask questions. Even if you think you know the answer, ask questions and find out their perspective. Begin to study without saying, hey, I already learned this before. I already studied this before. I've already done this many times. I've already led this many people. Like, no, go into that mentorship or that program and remove your resume. Let's kind of review. Number 1, pay for it. Number 2, state your goals and aspirations early on. Number 3, pursue the conversation. Number 4, remove your resume. Moving on. Number 5, have more than one. Have more than one mentor. Don't throw all your eggs in one basket. Find one with, and I'm gonna help you out here. I'm gonna give you some specifics. When you're looking for multiple mentors, do this. Find one with direct contact. Then find one with distant contact. And then find one with no personal contact at all. And that's actually how my 3 mentors are currently established. I have one that I have direct contact with. He's someone that I actually work with, although he's from New York and I'm here from Rhode Island. It's like a 3 to 4 hour drive. Nonetheless, that is a direct contact. We talk every day. He is someone who is very smart and dominant in the financial industry, in the financial realm. And he is one of my mentors as well. Then I have a distant contact. I have someone that is from Dallas, Texas, and he is one of my mentors, but there's not, I don't talk to him every day. It's more of a distant kind of contact, but nonetheless, I'm being mentored. We're talking on a monthly basis. We're talking for hours, talking about awesome things. He is teaching me. He's asking me questions. I'm asking him questions, and he's giving me answers. He's giving me guidance. He knows he's my mentor, and I know he's my mentor. That's one important step. Don't just assume someone's your mentor simply because they be throwing nuggets at you. If that was the case, then I'm a mentor of over 100 people. And if you're a leader here, then that means you have over 1,000 people who consider you mentors. No, a mentor is someone that you are literally dedicating the majority of your time, of the majority of your decision making has to go through the filter of your mentor. You're asking him questions. You're literally limiting and closing the gap, and you're bringing in way more proximity so that you can grow from him. He's sharing with you all of his life lessons. He's showing you the parts of his life that not everybody else has access to. And I'm sorry that I'm saying he, it could be a she as well. And then again, lastly, the one with no personal contact. I have a mentor who doesn't even know my name. However, I am paying that person because it's a unique type of mentoring. It's like a group mentoring. His name is Paul. He's a legend. He mentors thousands of people. And maybe you're thinking like, wait, how is that an effective mentorship model if he's mentoring thousands of people? Doesn't that lose quality? Absolutely not, because this unique way of mentoring is through live discussions, webinars, and this is like all private. Unless you're paying and unless you're part of this group mentoring package, you're not receiving access to any of this. So it's a very unique mentoring. I do ask him questions. He answers the questions, but it's not like it's a one-on-one type of mentoring. And that's one thing that you should probably do your due diligence study with. When it comes to the world of mentoring, there are different variants. There are different ways to be mentored. There's one-on-one mentorship. There's virtual mentorship. There's personal contact. There's distant contact. There's no contact at all. There's different ways of being mentored. And those are the 3 types of mentoring that I receive: a direct contact, distant contact, and no personal contact at all. So have more than one. Listen, in the same way how you don't just read one author about one subject, and if you do, then you need to read more books. But for example, if you're reading about finances, don't just read about, Dave Ramsey. Read more people. If you're reading about leadership, don't just read John Maxwell. Read your Patrick Lencioni. Read Craig Rochelle. Read all these different people. In the same way, how you don't read one author about one subject, read multiple. But you do that because you want to gather different experiences and different perspectives. So in the same way, gather, or not too many, but have more than one mentor. And if you want to be very strategic, get mentors that are experts in different fields. I have a mentor who's an expert at leadership. I have a mentor who's an expert in the finances. And then I have another mentor who's an expert in all things psychology and productivity. So those are the types of mentors that I have. I wanted to be strategic in my choices. I don't want, just 3 mentors that are all experts in one single category. Because although they all have different perspectives, I want to make sure that I can learn from people that are dominant in different areas so that I can become dominant in different areas. Number 5, have more than one. Last 3. Number 6, take notes. And I don't even need to really expand or go deep in this one, but literally, I'm going to just keep it at this. Don't trust your memory. Listen to me. Don't trust your memory. It wasn't built to last in the first place. Your memory was not built to last in the first place. Take notes, because your notes will survive even if your desire dies out.
Come on.
Your notes will survive even if your consistency dies out. Your notes will survive even if your memory doesn't. And what does that mean, Chris? That means, let's say I'm interested in leadership and I take notes of a person who's talking about leadership, a mentor, and he's teaching me about leadership. I can write those notes down. Our mentorship can end, and I still have the things that he spoke to me in front of me. My interest in leadership can even end, and I still got the notes that can rekindle a fire for leadership that I once had, or whatever the case may be. Take notes. Don't trust your memory. Your notes will survive longer than any thoughts or experience ever would. Number 7, retain and apply. The best way to learn is through application. Your notes, hear this and write this down. Unless you're driving, do not. Your notes will enlarge your etiquette, but it is the application that will enlarge your experience.
Say that again.
I'm going to say it again. Your notes will enlarge your etiquette, but your application will build your experience. Listen, your notes can't give you an experience. Your notes can't give you an experience. Your notes will only enlarge and will cultivate and chisel your etiquette. But it is the application of what you're writing down. It is the application of what's being taught. It is the application of what you're learning, and that will literally provide you with an experience. That will provide you with the experience you need to actually say, I've walked this, I've lived this, I've experienced this. So make sure you retain and apply. And lastly, number 8, surround yourself with accountability. Surround yourself with accountability. Listen, your mentor is not going to call you. Your mentor is not going to babysit you. And he is not going to call you every day. I'm sure I'm not doing that. Your mentor is not going to call you every day making sure you're reading. He's not going to call you every day to make sure you're working out. He's not going to call you every day to make sure you're journaling. He's not going to call you every day to make sure that you're listening to the right podcast. He's going to, on a period or on a monthly basis or maybe on a weekly basis, but he's not going to be calling you every day to make sure you're doing what you need to do. If you have a mentor who is willing to babysit you, then that's one thing. But the reality is we are adults. We are leaders. We have to understand that the mentor is just here to guide us, but they're not here to spoon feed us. We need to be the ones who can have the discipline required to say, hey, I'm not going to watch Netflix right now. I'm going to read this book. I'm not going to go out with the friends right now because I want to finish this assignment that my mentor wants me to finish. I'm going to be driving to Massachusetts and it's an hour drive for me. So what does that mean? I'm going to make sure I go on Audible and read this Audible book, or I'm going to make sure I'm going on a podcast and listening to this podcast, etc. You need to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with accountability beyond that of your mentor. Like I said at the beginning, not all the mentors are going to literally keep you accountable. The mentors are not going to frequently keep you in accountability. That means they're not going to be contacting you on a daily basis to make sure you're doing what you got to do. So you have to make sure that you are keeping yourself accountable. So for me, I have an amazing supportive wife that I have her keep me accountable. I tell her everything I want to accomplish. I tell her all the things I need to do. We have a shared calendar, and she keeps me accountable. But I also have great armor bearers. I have great friends and great people who are alongside me who literally keep me accountable. And if I'm going to slack, I may have the best reason in the world. They slap me in the face and say, "I'm sorry, you can do that later. Finish what you said you were gonna do." Sometimes it gets annoying. Sometimes I end up saying, "You know what? Get out of my face, or you're gonna get knocked out." But the reality is that accountability is so necessary for growth. So let's review. Let's go over the 8 one more time. You want to be an effective mentee? Number 1, pay for it. Because when you're financially invested, you think twice before you miss a meeting. You think twice before you don't complete an assignment. Number 2, state your goals and your aspirations. Give your mentor something to work with. Number 3, pursue the conversation. Show your interest and initiate with intentionality. Number 4, remove your resume. Remove your resume. You don't want to be a know-it-all. Number 5, have more than one mentor. Don't throw all your eggs in one basket. It's good to collect different perspectives and different experiences. Number 6, take notes. Don't trust your memory. Number 7, retain and apply. The best way to learn is through application. Number 8, surround yourself with accountability. So that's it. If you want to be an effective mentee, I highly suggest you take these 8 steps into account. But also, if you're interested in a mentor, maybe you're hearing this and you want to be mentored, you want an accountability partner, you want to grow and you want to receive, and you want to literally put this into practice. You want to be an effective mentee. Here's an opportunity. You can go to joshuatineo.com and you can go to the accountability coaching program and fill out the form there, and I will be delighted to mentor you and coach you and literally guide you to the place that you want to be. You may have more experience than I do. You may be older than I am. You may be younger than I am. You may have a better looking resume than I do. Nonetheless, it is your humility that is going to bring you to a place where God can be able to elevate you, where you're going to be able to elevate yourself. So, all right. If you want to be an effective mentee, follow those 8 things. It was awesome being able to share this discussion with you and share my thoughts with you. I can't wait to talk to you on the next episode for the Talking with Tineo podcast. It's a pleasure, and I love all of you, and we'll talk soon. See you later.